Chapter 1. The Real Problem. You open your book. You read a new word. You look at the meaning. You say the word out loud. You write it in your notebook. You even make a sentence. But 1 week later, the word is gone. You don't remember it. It disappears from your mind like it was never there. Why does this happen? Many English learners feel the same. They say, I study every day. I write new words. I make flashcards. But I forget the words again and again. What is wrong with me? The answer is simple. Nothing is wrong with you. The problem is not your memory. The problem is the method. You are learning in the wrong way. Let me tell you about a student. Her name is Mariam. She is from Egypt. She has been learning English for 4 years. She has finished 3 grammar books. She has a notebook full of words. But when she speaks, she forgets everything. She cannot find the right word. She becomes nervous. She says, I know this word. I studied it. I wrote it. But now it is gone. This is not only Mariam's problem. Many students around the world study like this. They read a word once. They translate it. They write it. They think they have learned it. But they didn't really learn it. They saw it. That's all. The word never entered their long-term memory. You see, there are 2 types of memory: passive memory and active memory. Passive memory means you understand the word when you see or hear it. Active memory means you can use the word when you speak or write. Most students build passive memory. They understand many words when they read or watch a video, but when they speak, they cannot find those words. Why? Because those words are not active. They are sleeping in the brain. Now here is the big mistake. People think if they write a word 5 times, they will remember it forever. But that's not true. Writing a word 5 times will not make it stick. Reading the meaning 1 time will not help you remember. Using a dictionary for every new word is not real learning. It's just information. And your brain forgets information very fast if it is not useful, interesting, or repeated in context. There are also psychological blocks. Many students are afraid to make mistakes. They want to be perfect. So they wait. They wait to speak. They wait to use new words. They keep studying, but they don't practice. And what happens? The words fade away. They vanish. Because your brain does not keep what you don't use. Let me share another story. There was a student in my class. His name was Diego. He was from Mexico. Diego said, I hate vocabulary tests. I always fail. I remember the words before the test, but after 1 day, I forget everything. I asked Diego, what do you do after the test? He said, nothing. I just wait for the next one. That was the problem. Learning is not for tests. Learning is for life. If you learn a word and then forget it, that is not real learning. Real learning means the word becomes part of you. It lives in your mouth. It comes out when you speak. It feels natural. There are also many myths about vocabulary. Some people say, you must memorize 10 words every day. Some say, you must write 20 sentences with each word. Some say, you must use a dictionary all the time. But the truth is, there is no one way. The only way that works is the way your brain enjoys. If your brain is bored, it will forget. If your brain is stressed, it will forget. But if your brain is happy, it will remember. Children remember words easily. Why? Because they don't memorize. They don't worry. They just live with the language. They hear words again and again. They play. They laugh. They speak without fear. And the words stay. This is how humans are built to learn. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through joy and repetition. So, what is the real problem? The real problem is not your brain. It is the way you use it. You are trying too hard. You are learning with stress. You are forcing words into your mind. But your mind does not like force. It likes stories. It likes pictures. It likes connection. When a word is connected to a story or a memory or a feeling, it stays. When it is just a line in a notebook, it disappears. In the next chapters, we will see how to remember words in a better way, a way that is natural, a way that is fun, a way that works. But first, take a deep breath. Let go of the pressure. You are not bad at English. You are just ready to learn it in a new way. Chapter 2. Why Reading is the Secret Weapon. There is one method that many people ignore. It is simple, it is cheap, and it works. That method is reading. Not reading for school, not reading boring textbooks, but reading for fun, reading stories, reading comics, reading anything that makes you happy. Most students do not believe this. They say, "How can reading help me remember words? I need to study. I need to memorize. I need to do exercises." But they are wrong. Reading is not only fun, it is powerful. Let me explain. When you read a story, you see words again and again. You don't need to memorize them. You don't need to make flashcards. The words repeat naturally. The story gives you a reason to keep going. You want to know what happens next, so you continue reading. And while you read, your brain is learning. It sees the same words in different places. It understands the meaning without a dictionary. And slowly, those words become yours. You don't even notice it, but you are remembering. You are growing. There was an experiment in the United States in 1965. A group of boys were in a special school. They had problems. Some stole things. Some skipped school. They didn't like reading. But one day, the school gave them books. Fun books. Books like James Bond. And they said, "You don't have to read. These books are for you. If you want, you can read them." And guess what? The boys read. Some read a book every 2 days. No tests. No teachers watching. Just reading for pleasure. After 2 years, they took a test. The boys who read did better in reading, writing, and school in general. They were also happier. They liked school more. But the boys who didn't read, they didn't improve. In fact, some got worse. This experiment showed something big. Reading without pressure helps students grow, not just in English, but in life. Another study happened in the Fiji Islands. It tested 3 groups. Group 1 studied English in the normal way, with grammar rules and exercises. Group 2 read books quietly in class. Group 3 listened to the teacher read stories out loud. After 1 year, the reading groups were much better. They had stronger vocabulary. They understood grammar better. They could speak and write more clearly. The group with only grammar lessons was far behind. Now let's look at Singapore. The experiment was similar. One group had grammar lessons. The other group had reading time. The students in the reading group did better, even in grammar tests. That surprised many teachers. How can reading help grammar? The answer is simple. When you read, you don't learn grammar with rules. You feel it. Your brain sees the patterns. It sees how words connect. And that is true learning. You don't need to study grammar to use it well. You just need to see good examples many times. And reading gives you those examples. Let me tell you a story. There is a man named Tom. He wanted to learn English. He didn't like grammar. He didn't like rules. So he made a plan. He said, "I will read 1 million words in English." That sounds crazy. 1 million is a big number. But he started with easy books, very easy. Then he read children's stories, then comics, then novels. Every day he read. Slowly, he began to understand more. He remembered more. After 1 year, he spoke English well. He could write, he could listen, he could speak, and he didn't memorize anything. He just read. So why is reading so powerful? Because it gives you words in context. That means you don't just see a word, you see it inside a sentence. You see how it works. You see what words go around it. Your brain gets the full picture. It's like learning a word with its family. You don't just learn the word fast. You also learn run fast, talk fast, a fast car. This helps you remember. Reading also improves your writing. When you read good sentences, your brain remembers the rhythm. When you write, those rhythms come back. Your grammar improves, your spelling improves, even your thinking becomes more clear. And yes, reading also helps with speaking. You may not speak while you read, but your brain is building sentences. Later, when you talk, those sentences are ready. They come out faster and smoother. That's why students who read a lot speak better too. Many learners say, "But reading is hard. I need a dictionary every minute." That's because they choose books that are too difficult. To enjoy reading, you must choose books that are easy. You should understand 98% of the words. Then you can relax. Then you can enjoy. Then your brain can learn. So stop worrying. Don't search for hard words. Don't open grammar books every day. Find a story you love. Read it. Enjoy it. And trust the process. Reading is the secret weapon. It will teach you more than you ever imagined. Chapter 3. How words stick naturally. Some people study every day. They write words in a notebook. They repeat them many times. They try very hard, but still, they forget. Other people do something different. They read stories. They enjoy the words. They don't memorize, but they remember more. Why? What is the secret? The answer is simple. The brain does not like pressure. It does not like boring rules. It likes patterns. It likes pictures. It likes emotions. That is how we remember, not by force, but by feeling. Not by studying, but by living with the language. This is called natural learning. When you were a child, how did you learn your first language? You didn't use a notebook. You didn't make flashcards. You didn't study grammar. You listened. You watched. You heard words again and again. Your brain collected them, slowly, without stress. And then, one day, you started to speak. You didn't study the word apple. You just heard it many times, at home, at the market, at school. You saw the apple. You touched it. You tasted it. That is context. That is real learning. Now let's talk about repetition. But not the boring kind. Not writing a word 10 times. Not saying it in a loud voice again and again. That kind of repetition does not work for everyone. It is stressful. It is dry. Your brain does not enjoy it. So it forgets. But when you read, repetition becomes natural. You don't try to repeat. It just happens. For example, you read a story. A dog runs fast. Then the boy says, he is a fast runner. Then later, she drives a fast car. Now the word fast appears again and again, but each time it is a little different. Your brain sees the word in action. It starts to understand how to use it. This is how words stick. They grow inside your brain like small seeds. The more you read, the more they grow. This is called absorption. You absorb the language like a sponge. You don't chase it. You don't fight it. You just let it come to you. It's the same way you enjoy a song. You don't study the lyrics first. You listen again and again. Then suddenly, you know the words. You sing along. You don't try. It just happens. That is how the brain works when it's happy. Now let me tell you a story. There was a man who wanted to learn Spanish. His name was Robert. He tried many things. He took classes. He did grammar exercises. He watched videos. But he still could not speak well. He forgot words. He felt lost. Then one day, he decided to try something new. He said, I will read 1,000,000 words in Spanish. 1,000,000 words. That sounds impossible. But Robert had a plan. He started with very easy books, children's books, comics, short stories. He read every day. He didn't stop to look in the dictionary. He just read. If he didn't understand a word, he kept going. Slowly, the words became clear. Slowly, the grammar made sense. After a few months, he read longer books, novels, magazines. He listened to podcasts with transcripts. He counted every word he read. 1 year later, Robert tested himself. He could read almost everything. He could write clearly. He could understand when people spoke slowly. He could have conversations. All of this just from reading. He didn't memorize. He didn't study lists. He absorbed the language. It entered his brain in a natural way, and it stayed there. Robert said something beautiful. He said, when I read, I don't feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm living in the language. That's why I remember. And he's right. When learning feels like work, we become tired. When learning feels like play, we become strong. This is the secret to remembering words. Don't study them. Live with them. See them. Feel them. Let them become part of your story. This method feels easier because it is. You don't need to force yourself. You don't need to push your brain. You just need to choose the right materials. Start with something fun, something simple, something interesting. Then read, listen, watch. Let the words come to you. Don't run after them. Just keep going. Trust the process. Remember this. The brain learns best when it is relaxed, when it is happy, when it enjoys the moment. So make your learning a moment of joy, not fear. Don't worry about forgetting. If you keep reading, the words will come back, again and again, until one day they stay. This is how words stick, naturally, gently, like rain into dry earth. And one day you will speak with confidence, not because you studied hard, but because you learned in the way your brain loves. Chapter 4. Start small, but stay consistent. Many learners believe they must read difficult books to improve faster, but this often backfires. When a book is too hard, your brain gets tired. You lose focus, you feel frustrated, you stop reading, and forget what you just learned. Why easy and fun? Reading works better. When you read something easy and enjoyable, your brain relaxes. You understand the story. You stay engaged. You might only learn 1 or 2 new words, but you remember them. Why? Because you're reading in a good mood, without stress or pressure. Learning works best when it feels natural. That's why fun and simple books are more powerful than difficult and boring ones. The goal isn't to impress others, it's to build lasting memory. The 98% rule, explained simply. There's a simple rule for effective reading. You should know 98% of the words in what you're reading. Only 2% should be new. That may sound high, but here's why it matters. Example: 90% versus 98%. Familiar words, 90%. Familiar, too hard. Lena flirted out of bed and glamped the curtains. She spibbled happily as she made her snore fast. The vibbler made a sound. She blurfed it off. This sentence has too many strange words. It's confusing. Your brain is overloaded. 98%. Familiar, just right. Lena jumped out of bed and opened the curtains. She smiled happily as she made her breakfast. The phone made a sound. She blurfed it off. Now, you can guess the meaning of blurfed from context. The sentence is clear. You keep reading. You feel confident. That's the power of the 98% rule. Why comics and fairy tales help memory comics are short, visual, and emotional. The pictures help your brain connect words with meaning. You see facial expressions, actions, and story flow. This creates strong memory. Fast. Fairy tales are simple, repetitive, and full of emotion. You probably already know the story. That makes it easier to focus on the language. These stories use clear grammar and everyday vocabulary. Don't worry if these books feel too easy. Easy is smart. Easy is effective. The takeaway. Start with simple, enjoyable books, not advanced novels. Read a little every day, stay consistent. The more you enjoy, the more you remember. And soon, even the hard words will feel like home. Chapter 5. Make your reading active. How to turn passive reading into active learning. Reading is a powerful way to learn new words, but only if you do it actively. Many people read passively. They look at the words, maybe understand the story, and then move on. But passive reading is like walking through a city without noticing the streets. You were there, but you didn't really learn. To remember words, you need to interact with the text. You need to read with purpose. Here's how to do it. 1. Underline new words. When you find a new word, underline it. Don't stop and grab a dictionary every time. Just mark it and keep reading. After you finish a paragraph or a page, go back. Try to guess the meaning from the sentence. Then check if you were right. This trains your brain to pay attention. It also helps you build guessing skills, which are important for fluency. Second guess from context. Let's say you read, "The sun was setting and the sky turned a deep crimson." You may not know crimson, but you can guess it means a color, probably red. This is called context guessing, and it's one of the best ways to learn new words naturally. Your brain builds connections instead of just memorizing. 3. Reread the same story at a higher level. One great trick. Read the same story at different levels. First, read the simple version, like a children's version or a graded reader. Then, find the full version, maybe from a novel or classic text. Because you already know the story, your brain focuses on language, not the plot. You notice how words and sentences change. This makes learning faster. The story stays the same, but your understanding grows. 4. Use audiobooks with transcripts. Listening while reading is a powerful memory tool. Choose an audiobook that has a written transcript, the full text. Follow along as you listen. You get 2 inputs at once, sound and text. This builds your listening skills, pronunciation, and spelling, all at the same time. You also hear the rhythm of English. That's hard to learn from reading alone. Repeat the same chapter, pause and repeat sentences out loud. This helps lock words into your long-term memory. 5. Rereading builds memory. If you read something once, you might forget it. If you read it 3 times, you start to remember. If you read it 5 times, it becomes part of you. Rereading is not boring when the material is fun and meaningful. It's actually a secret weapon for vocabulary and grammar. Each time you reread, you notice more details, and your confidence grows. Make reading a habit, not a task. Active reading turns stories into lessons, but it doesn't have to feel like homework. It should feel like a discovery. Just 15 minutes of focused, active reading can teach you more than hours of passive study. So next time you read, don't just move your eyes over the page. Mark words, guess meanings, reread, listen, speak. Make the text come alive, and the words will stay with you.